G'day guys, Mac with the Art Circle. In this episode of Getting Started in the Horus Heresy, we have the part 3 for the Iron Warriors. So to start out with, we'll get straight into it with Erasmus Golg. Now Golg was a really good character in Heresy version 1 because when you took him, Legion Terminators became troops choices. It was just a special rule he had, it wasn't a warlord trait and it wasn't a rite of war. So it was a really good way of getting Terminators into the troop slot. That was fun, therefore that's gone. So he doesn't have that. And he used to cause fear. That was fun. That's gone. So what he has now is a Strength 10 Power Fist. Actually, Chain Fist, I should say. And is Master Crafted. But, yeah, that's... the whole reason you took him, right, was you can take a Chain Fist anyway on a Praetor or a Warsmith. And he doesn't have any of the other interesting Warsmith equipment, which is a strange choice. So not very good Warsmith in that case. So I'd probably just take a Warsmith over Golg many times out of 10. But he's, I don't know, I'm still attached to the old idiot, so I will take him my own Iron Warriors. Now, what I think is a good thing to do with him is to put him into a unit of Dominators. So Dominators are the Perturabo Praetor Bodyguard unit. Thunderhammer armed Terminators, and they're quite good. High weapon skill, all that kind of thing. They're basically, if they had Storm Shields, they'd be the perfect unit, but they don't. Now, on the Dominators, my preferred loadout is to have 2 of them with Chain Fists and Multi-Melters, and everyone else just with the Thunderhammers. It's a good combo. Now, with Golg joining that unit, he's going to be adding a Augury Scanner to that unit. And that means you can do Intercept for free with those multi-melters. I highly recommend this. On top of that, it also means that you have that big radius of people can't infiltrate into it. So it's a real force multiplier in that regard, and I think if you're taking him without the Dominators, you're probably doing it wrong, because it's the only way to sort of make him effective, and he does boost their effectiveness. And that's where I think he comes into his own over, say, a regular Praetor or Warsmith. Next up, we have Keir Valen. Now, Keir Valen is a Loyalist Warsmith, and he was really, really good in Heresy 1, and he's still pretty damn good in Heresy 2. Built-in Feel No Pain on him, which is good, and a built-in Battle Harden, which is really good. So he's one of those guys that can actually take a charge from someone with a Power Fist or a Thunderhammer and is going to laugh at them. Iron Halo on him as well, which is great. And he has his own servo arm, Cortex controller, Battlesmith, all the sort of things you'd expect on a Warsmith who is not called Erasmus Golg. He has Melter Bombs, so he can kill vehicles, he can hurt Dreadnoughts, not recommended of course. He has a Volkite Charger, which no one cares about, but his actual combat weapon is interesting, being Strength +2, and it's AP 3, it's Master Crafted, it's Breaching 4+, so on 4s it's going to be AP 2, and Blind as well. So pretty close to something like a Paragon Blade or a Relic Blade of some kind, but I really like it as a weapon. So the other thing he has is his Battle Logistician rule, which is his Warlord trait. It's okay, and it gives one unit in his army Relentless, which is... it's got its bonuses. Something like a heavy weapons unit, maybe Iron Havocs, for example, missiles, las cannons. I've got them with missiles myself, just for the anti-air ability. He will actually make them able to move and shoot, which is pretty cool for picking better positions and better fire positions. So, really, really good character. Model when, Forge World? Next up, we have Narek Draeger. Now, Narek Draeger is an interesting one because he is out of production. He, along with Ortelion Score, the limited edition, they were limited edition miniatures released by Games Workshop Forge World back in book 2 and 3 era. I think it was just after book 3 they technically dropped at that weekender. So if you went to an event held at Warhammer World or held at like a Games Day or something in the US, you could buy those guys there. Of course, here in Australia, not for sale. So every one of them I got, I had to actually, blackmail a friend who lived in the UK or the United States to go and pick me up one. These days, if I want those kind of miniatures, of course, there are other ways to do so. Now, Narek Draeger is a boosted, buffed Praevian console, essentially. In Heresy 1, all he had over a regular Praevian, I think, was one additional attack, something like that, or one additional wound. It was one point on his stat line was higher. Not much. In this edition, though, he's a little bit better. So he comes with a built-in Graviton Gauntlet, which is essentially a Power Fist, but it's got the Haywire special rule. It's an Iron Warriors thing. They have, like, Graviton Mauls and stuff. And his bolt pistol is mastercrafted, which you at first go, oh, who cares? But the reason you use that is because he has a Cortex Designator. Now, the Cortex Designator gives your automata +1 to hit if they target a unit which has already been shot at. So you want to use it like a Town Marker Light, or like how the Ultramarines have their Legion trait, that if you shoot at something, it boosts the effectiveness of the rest of the shooting. Same thing here. Use him. Use it like a sighting laser, pop a shot off into a unit, know that you're pretty much guaranteed to hit because it's master-crafted, and then your automata do better. He's probably the only Praevian who's currently worth it in the game, because automata generally suck balls now. Anyway, let's move on to the big guy, Perturabo. Now, Perturabo is a lot worse than Heresy 1, a lot worse, in my opinion. But he is a lot cheaper than Heresy 1, so, it's a start. Now, his stat line is what you would call mediocre for a Primarch, except he does have the slightly higher toughness of 7, which we also see on Ferris, we also see it on Vulcan, I think Mortarion. So, straight away, that's pretty good. His armor is 2+ armor save, 3+ invulnerable save. And it allows him to make AP2 +1 strength strikes in close combat. Okay, it's something. But when all the other Primarchs are getting like crazy brutal attacks and instant death attacks, murderous strike attacks, and it's pretty underwhelming. Therefore, you're probably going to want to upgrade to Forgebreaker Desecrated, which is 35 bloody points. That's too many points for what it is, because it's a crappier version of Forgebreaker. I know, right? So, the original First Manus Forgebreaker was a brutal 3 weapon that struck an initiative. Now, it goes down to brutal 2, but it gains the Exoshock special rule, which means on a 3+, you basically cause an extra penetrating hit every time you cause a penetrating hit on a vehicle. So, I guess Ferris is really good at just killing regular units, and Primarchs and anything, and Perturabo's better at killing very specific super heavy tanks that you don't want to be killing up that close a range. Yay! Probably the best parts of Perturabo are the fact that he's a battlesmith. He has this interesting guns in his arms, these quad bolt gun things, which are strength 6, AP 3, assault 6, 30-inch ranged, shredding, pinning, and shell shock, so -1 on your pinning guns. The old ones I liked because they were rending, because you could fire those things into, say, a building, for example, and I actually took down Armor 14 fortifications with it, which is hilarious. Now, it's really good for, as you're crossing the battlefield, looking at something like a Rapier Battery, for example, and then just hosing them with a few rounds and causing them to take a pinning check. He's really good for that. Now, lastly, on top of all that kind of stuff, he has the Tormentor. And the Tormentor is a Shadow Sword, which is well overcosted because it has a transport capacity. It has no assault ramp or anything, but it has a transport capacity. It's 24 models. It can't take Iron Circle, even though it does in the novels, and Perturabo can hop in it. The Tormentor is 900 points. Yeah. So if you take the Tormentor and you take Perturabo now, you're going to be looking at playing a minimum of about a 5,500 point game in order to take them both. And it's unlikely to happen. Like, let's be honest, it's just too many points. Yeah, he's okay. He's okay as far as Primarchs go. He gets free intercept as well without using up like reaction allocation because of his armor. That's all about the armor with him. Gives him all of his benefits. So let's hope there's no special rules out there, wink wink, that shut down things like one item of war gear. Because if it does, if you shut down the logos, you shut down everything on this guy. Yeah, that's about all there is to say about the Iron Warriors. I think Perturabo is quite middling in this edition. He's not bad, like he will boost your army up a lot, of course, because he's a Primarch and all that. He's going to make it so your Iron Warriors almost never fail morale checks. They're going to roll 3d6 against morale, pinning, things like that, and they discard the highest dice, so, good for them. But, yeah, you don't want him fighting other Primarchs unless he's got the hammer, especially unless he's got the hammer. Then he can do some damage. And you don't want him really... You don't want him in situations where he can just get shot at. Because he will die, unfortunately. There's just not strong enough defensive stuff to put around him and transport at the same time. You're encouraged to take units of Iron Circle, but a big Iron Circle squad with Perturabo is so many points, it's not funny. And he can only heal so much per turn of them, even with his 2+ Battlesmith. Something to keep in mind. I think I prefer Heresy 1.0 version myself, but he's not terrible. He's just probably at the mid to lower end of the Primarch power spectrum. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm back with the Outer Circle. Hope you all enjoyed this episode, got something out of it. Next episode is going to be on the Night Lords, so I'll catch you on that one. See you all next time.